Hello, and welcome back to this week's edition of Ask Ron, where Ron answers our Gold Club members' questions every week. I've got Ron here with me. How you doing today, Ron?
Yeah, I'm peachy.
Awesome. Well, one reminder I do want to put out there for you guys is that this is a benefit for our Gold Club members. So if you do want to ask Ron questions in the future, you want to let them know how they can become a Gold Club member, Ron?
Yeah, it's just a $59 a month charge. Quit when you want. A mountain of information, a mountain of it. All my forms and agreements, hundreds of hours worth of training modules on there about any subject that you could think about. We communicate with you every Friday with your Friday newsletter, bringing you up to date and giving you all kinds of sources for doing just about anything you want to do. So go check it out. It's a very valuable site, and literally it's 12 years of constantly loading stuff on it. And for $59 a month, we call it the best bargain in real estate today. So go down below and check that out if you're not a member. And when you are a member, then you can get to participate in these calls and ask your questions as well.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get into these questions. The first one comes from Manuel Moran. He says, how do I get a proof of funds letter, Ron?
Okay, well, Manuel, I don't know whether you've been to my Quick Start school or not. If you have, if you have lately, the actual code to get on there is in your manual on the proof of funds page. If you haven't, and you have been to Quick Start School, then you're going to have to email us and we'll get you back the code. And if you haven't been to Quick Start School, then get in Quick Start School and then you'll get the code. It's right in your manual when you get into class. Actually we're doing one here in Jacksonville this month at the end of the month, and we're doing another one in Chicago. These are live events in Chicago in September, and then I think we go to there for a virtual event, and then one more live one in Jacksonville for the rest of this year. So we got them down to half price now to get into that event. You guys, all of you, if you're really serious about getting into real estate, couldn't be a better time, because it's literally half the normal price to get in this thing. And plus I'm giving you $6,000 worth of bonus stuff, real bonus charges, not seminar crap, just to get in, because we want as many folks as we can get in these before the end of the year. And I still teach these things all 4 days. So come on and join me if you really want to get started, because this is the basic training for being a real estate entrepreneur. Has been for a lot of years, created a lot of millionaires. In fact, our summit's coming up next week, and you're going to hear from some of those. So make sure you get registered for that. I think we got a link down below, don't we?
We do.
It's free, and it's jam-packed all 3 days with great information, great speakers, and you'll meet some of these students that are doing very, very well out there, and you'll see what and why you should get into this business. I've never seen a business like this one, I swear, and I've been in quite a few of them. Very, very, very low overhead, very, very high transaction values checks. I mean, what are you going to do that's going to give you more benefits than that? But like any other business, you got to start by getting the right training from qualified people.
All right, perfect.
Boy, that was a long diatribe answer to that question. You started it. All right.
Next one comes from Tony and Angie Stewart in Ohio.
Of course it does.
It does. And there says, I'm starting to see a lot of ads about home titles being stolen in companies that will do a home title lock to protect your home.
Yeah.
What is your take on this topic? I want a good answer for people with whom I'm positioning myself as a real estate problem solver.
Well, Tony, in the beginning, for a long time, I thought it was a bunch of crap, to be honest with you. How can anybody steal your home? But the more I see about it, there are people who are getting their homes stolen. I honestly don't know how they're doing it, because I've never bought a house in my life that I didn't have to prove who I was and all kinds of things, and a picture, your driver's license, and whatever. But I don't know, somehow they're getting away with it. So I'd say it is probably worth, if it's a small price to pay, to know that if it does get stolen, somebody's going to defend it for you. So they're doing a good job of marketing it. I mean, after all, well, I was going to say, no, Tom Selleck is selling loans. But anyway, I don't really know, because I haven't had mine stolen yet. But I think it's worth buying. I also think the LifeLock is worth buying to protect your entity. Your theft of your name, and somebody to back you up if in fact somebody does steal your identity. I'm in LifeLock now, and I'm probably going to join the home ownership thing, even though I sometimes feel like I'm wasting my money. What if I'm wrong? It only takes once. What if I'm wrong? So I don't know, you have to check it out on your own because I'm not qualified to advise on it. I don't have it, and I haven't looked at all the rules and so forth.
All right, perfect. Next up, in the unfortunate situation of a divorce, how does a land trust affect who gets ownership of the property?
Well, in the case of a divorce, I can tell you that you're not going to hide anything. You can believe me on that. So the first thing they're going to do is start with a list of real assets that you and or your wife own together. And this largely depends on what state you're in. But you're not going to hide it. You know, if your goal is to hide it, forget it. You might as well just come clean and say, here's what we got, and then maybe fight over how you're going to split it up. If you and your spouse are the beneficial interest of a land trust, as far as dividing up your assets, that doesn't make any more difference than if you and your spouse owned it in your names jointly. From an asset protection point of view, it sure does. But from an estate plan splitting stuff up, it doesn't. They'll want to copy your trust, and they'll easily see that you both own the house. And then, of course, the judge will decide who gets the house. That depends on a lot of things. So land trusts aren't going to help you in a divorce.
Perfect. All right, next up, my mother is 82 and owns a home with a small mortgage left on it. What is the best way for my brother and I to avoid probate?
Well, you better get her house into a land trust immediately. And if she checks into a nursing home, they're probably going to have a look-back period of at least a couple of years, and that changes state by state, so you want to get it right away. You don't want anything in her name the day she checks into a nursing home. And I'll tell you a story, my story. I had a deed to a trust on my desk for me to put Mom and Dad's house into a trust, and then Dad died before I got it recorded. Therefore, it was worthless. You cannot record a deed after somebody dies. Well, you can, but it's not enforceable, and the title check from your next buyer will show that the death certificate was dated before you recorded the deed. The deed is dead. So I'll promise you this much: I had to go through probate. My mom got clear title to it, but as soon as she got that clear title, you can believe it was in a land trust. And in this case, I put my mom as beneficial interest. However, when she died, we did nothing. We had no probate. Us 4 siblings, I sold the property and we just split it up. And we didn't have to deal with any government entity or any taxes or anything like that. So land trust is great for you because nobody knows who the owners are. It's not recorded anywhere. It's except on your trust document that's in your filing cabinet.
Next up, when I sell a property on a lease option, could I add in the contract that all repairs needed to be done by a licensed professional?
You can add it, but I don't think your tenant buyer is going to like it. And even if they say they're having it done, they're not, because this is all about, if there's any work that needs to be done, look, I can do that and save a lot of money by doing it myself. So, I've never added that because I've never felt the need to add that, because the truth is they're either going to fix it themselves or they're not going to get it done, because the option agreement clearly states that the condition of the option is for them to fix whatever's broke in the house. Now, this is assuming that it's not broke when I put them in there, because if this is not a work for equity deal, then I should fix whatever needs to be fixed before I put them in the house. And after that, they're on their own after the first 30 days in my situation. But I don't know, I guess the only way you're going to find out is to put it in there and see if it creates any issues with tenant buyers. The truth is that I know darn well they want to fix something, they're not going to call it professional anyway, and you're never going to know the difference. But if you can sleep better, go ahead and put it in there.
All right, and then my last question before you, Ron. If you had to put a number on it, how many postcards do you think that you send out before you get a call back from one of your recipients?
That depends on who you're sending it to more than anything else. The postcard's going to say we buy houses, and it'll give you a few reasons, a few benefits. That's all it's going to say. I don't care how you word it or what graphics you put on it or whatever. That's what they all say. So it matters who you're sending them to. And that's where Ron's Deal Finder is going to be such a great value to you, because you get to pick lists. You create your own list and narrow them down right down to where you don't have to send that many postcards after narrowing down the quality of the prospect that you're picking. And you pick the area and so forth. And they'll send the postcard for you. They'll send it cheaper than you can buy the stamp. They will put it in the mail and send it for you. I don't know how they do that. That's ronsdealfinder.com.
All right, well, that's all I got for you, Ron. You want to mention anything else?
Well, I did get registered for that summit now. It's next week. It's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And also, the link is below to get your application in here. It's for it's all about a trip to Jacksonville you're going to make in October, the middle of October. Spend 2 days with me and Adel, my partner acquisitionist, digging into your businesses, digging into them now because that's what we're going to do. And I don't have a complete agenda scheduled yet because what I'm going to do is we're going to pick the 5 couples before the end of the day next week. The last day of the event next week. We're going to announce the winners on the last day of the summit coming up next week on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And I'm going to pick 5 couples. I'm going to pick a 6th alternate in case one of them has to bow out. And I'll already tell you, I just got off a phone with Ann Brandel. Many of you know her, one of our mentors, and she's going to be there. It's going to be extremely powerful 2 days, and it's going to be focused strictly on your business. So I'm going to get on a Zoom call with the winners way in advance of that to get you prepared so we can get the biggest bang for the buck. And both Adel and I will be teaching that, and you'll meet my staff here in the whole works. And I'm even going to buy you the food. I mean, 2 lunches and 1 dinner. That's enough reason to fly to Jacksonville. So get that application in because it's almost too late.